This is Abedons TV. It's a platform for people all over the world to share their testimony. Please contact us on Facebook, Instagram, and on WordPress at Abedons TV. Thank you.
Bro, your friend wire, bro. Your friend wire, bro. Your friend wire, bro.
Glory. Time to lift up my voice and praises. Listen to my street gospel as the temple raises. Body coupe the Mercedes. Blessings for blessings. Kwame told y'all for Jesus we crazy. I humble myself. What's up, world? How's everybody doing? They call me Clem Biney. That's the name, Clem Biney. Also, aka Thuggy. But my artist name is Clem Biney. I'm a hip hop, rap, Hiplife artist coming up. Been doing music for a while, but I figured I'd share my testimony, my life story with everybody out there. So you guys know what I've been through, my life struggle, and what got me here today. I was born overseas, Ghana, West Africa, but I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, specifically 58 and 4th Avenue, Sunset Park. Schooled a little bit out there, and then we moved to New Jersey. My life got harder. My mother lost her job. My mother pretty much raised me. I have just one sibling. I'm the only son of my mother, and my mom, she's a single parent right now. She was back then, till she got with my stepdad. And that's how everything started. So I still got a little New York in me even now. I live in New Jersey right now. Growing up, I was a quiet child. I was the type of guy that none of the kids wanted to play with. You know what I'm saying? Even when I tried to play with them, nobody wanted to play with me. This is a little bit harder for me to say, but as a child, I got teased for my voice, how I sounded. People, my peers said I sounded a little bit more, quote unquote, girly. My voice was squeaky, and then my looks. But the bad one was I was very skinny. I was scrawny. I'm still skinny, but I gained a little bit weight. That's what you call it. The nigga gained a little weight. So throughout, middle school, going into high school, I was always teased. When my mother lost her job, that's what made us move to New Jersey. So currently I live in New Jersey. And it was very, very tough because my stepdad had lost his job too. Now, when my mother first came to America, she lived in New Jersey. So she found life a lot more easier over here. As you guys know, New York is a lot of, everything is expensive. I mean, just rent, everything. So we moved back to New Jersey. Start fresh in life, and my mother was the only one working, taking care of our 2 kids and my stepdad. My sister's the oldest. She now lives in PA. So I got enrolled in high school, specifically Saraville High School, which is in the township of Saraville, New Jersey. And growing up, what happens is when you fatherless, my real dad, my biological father, was really never in my life like that. My mother raised us growing up, so my real dad really never played a part, especially living here in America. So I took the street life. Whenever after school, I'll come home, and my mother's at work, so there wasn't no parenting in the house, even though I was raised right. So I took the street life. I'll go hang out with my boys, playing video games, just doing the normal teenage stuff. And I want everybody to, I'm not ashamed to say this, that's where I picked up, weed smoking and just having fun in general. I started drinking doing stuff, and I got myself with police and things like that. You know, just running into law. Police used to harass me. They would ask me where I'm going, where I'm driving to, and that pushed me more. It kind of gave a chip on my shoulder. It pushed me more and more to be aggressive and, you know, like an outlaw, just rebelling. You know what I'm saying? So whilst I was in high school, I started writing poetries, writing in pretty much English or whatever you guys want to call it, grammar. It was like my thing, my favorite subject. So I started writing poetries and stuff like that. And I met a guy, my friend Andre Washington. Shout out to Dre. You know, in high school, from around 16, 17, I turned the poetry into music. Started writing music and things like that. Now, I want to go back a little bit to my childhood. It was very rough, especially growing up with a single mother. You know, poverty was one of the problems. And now that I'm grown, that is more like my drive. You know, it pushes me to do more better, you know, my hunger, because my goal is one day I just want to make my mother proud. So when I got into music, the first time I heard my own voice on the mic, I was blown away, because it goes back to when I was a kid. You know, everybody used to make fun how I sounded. I didn't sound more like the boys, or whatever you want to call it, manly, even though my voice wasn't broken up yet, you know. So, you know, when I started doing the music, and the people around me just let me know that I got a great voice for music. And I kind of thrived off that. I was like, oh, well, okay, so, you know, if people outside are seeing that, I guess I do have something more that I can give to the world. So I got into music around the age of 17. We started just recording demos with a sock on the karaoke mic, stealing beats online and rapping over other well-known famous rappers' beats and things like that. And that's how I got into the music. It was really, really hard. It's hard when you don't have nobody to support you and you cannot support yourself. So that was another problem I was having. Came across a lot of people who wanted to help me with the music, but it just never happened. So I stayed more like underground. Even now you can call them underground, but I stayed more on the underground. Now back then I used to do strictly hip hop and rap. Just rap, just cursing and things like that, you know. It was cool. But now I'm growing up into the full developed artist that I was bred to be. You know, the artist that can reach people. I can talk about different subjects, different content matter, and all that. You know, I'm grown into that. In high school, I was very bad. I don't see it as bad, or in other words, being a bad boy. I was just trying to find my way in the world, trying to find myself. I was just trying to find my soul, who I am, you know. So I used to fight a lot, and I got into a fight at 17. By the time I was in 12th grade, you know, I was a senior, I got into a fight with some guy at school, and, you know, an injury occurred. So, you know, I got expelled, pretty much. Now, I had 3 months to graduate high school, and this happened, which is really sad to think about it. I wanted to go to the prom, you know, all those good things, and I never got to do that. They expelled me. My mother took me around other schools, and no other school would take me. So, now, let me just tell you a little bit about, you know, coming from an African background, My parents was like, my mom was like, oh, you're not gonna be nobody now. You didn't graduate. You don't have a high school diploma. You can't go to college, and what you gonna do? You can't get a job because you don't even have a high school diploma. But what my high school did for me was they homeschooled me. So I got homeschooled for the last 3 months before I graduated. But I never graduated. The normal graduation when you walk the line and you wear the cape and all of that, throw it up in the air, all that good stuff. I never got to do that. So I was home. I'm a man and I'm not afraid to speak the truth. I cried a lot because I wake up every morning and it just hearing my mother talk like yada 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 just straight into my ears. It was overwhelming, you know what I mean? And I cried a lot because in my mind, imagine a 17-year-old in my mind. I'm just now getting exposed to the world. I'm thinking, ooh, I'm not gonna be nobody. I ain't never gonna be shit, things like that. So in my mind, I was a little bit crippled mentally, and physically I was drained. They homeschooled me and they made a decision. The Board of Ed, Department of Education of New Jersey, said, you know what, we're gonna give you a diploma. So thank God I do have a diploma. So they gave me a diploma, and from then on I went to a technical school for graphic design, animation, and freelance. That's what I did. I still have that skills. So that really didn't work out. It just wasn't working out, so I dropped out like I did high school, and then I just started working. Dropped out, started working. I went to the Job Corps in Vermont, the state of Vermont. It's very cold out there. Gets to like 14 degrees out there. Prior to me going to the Job Corps, I used to date this girl. She was Slovakian, white girl, and we went to a party and a fight broke out, and between me and somebody else, and she ended up trying to break us up. While she was trying to break us up, she got punched in the mouth. And you know what happened at parties? They called the cops. The cops came, and they checked everybody ID. They realized I had a warrant from an unpaid ticket years ago in South Brunswick. That's a township next to us. So they locked me up, and that led me to going to jail for the first time in my life. So the fine was $145. I was broke back then. I didn't have the money to pay it, so I ended up having to be locked up. They took me to jail, and they booked me and locked me up. My first time. It was the county jail. Nothing, but imagine, back then I was 19 years old, 19, 20, I think 19 turning 20. I was a little bit scared, getting exposed to going to jail, because I didn't know how it was. I've heard stories about crazy things. So I went to jail. I met the judge 3 days after being at Middlesex County, and the judge made a deal with me that if he was to let me go, then I have to go to the Job Corps. Now the Job Corps is a government program where troubled kids can go and pick a trade. Basically, it's like rehabilitation, but in the proper way, where you can just bounce back, make your life a lot more better. So I ended up going to the Job Corps in Vermont. I went to Vermont, and I was only there for like 6 months. It seems everywhere I went, trouble followed me, I went to Vermont. I got into a fight. Some guy wanted to fight me over a girl. That's what it was. So the rules at the Job Corps, it was like a boarding school, The rules over there was, no alcohol, no marijuana, pretty much no drugs, none of that. And you can't bring girls and things like that into the dorm room. I got into the fight, like I said, and they held a board meeting and they expelled me. This is years ago. This is way back in 2008. Still fresh in my memory though. So I got expelled for that, and they canceled the program. So I ended up coming back to New Jersey, 2008. And from then on, I came back to the music. You know, when I came back home, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna just record. And I came back to the music. So from 2008, I was just recording, doing music, and working, you know, working odd jobs, working in warehouses here and there, and things like that. I was just working and doing music. Through that, I met a girl, an Italian girl. Her name was Melissa. Hope she's doing good. And her uncle was an editor for the Home News Tribune. If anybody who's in New Jersey knows what the Home News Tribune is, it's the state newspaper, like the Star Ledger. And he wanted to help me. You know, he found out through my girlfriend that I do poetry. So he said, you know what, I can help you have your poetry published, which was great. I loved it. So he ended up publishing my poetry in the Home News Tribune. That put a little light on me, and that was pretty much that's where I took my craft or my talent serious, because the newspaper got feedbacks from readers like, oh, we like this guy and he's good poetry, you know. And that faded out after my relationship with the girl faded. You know, we broke up. Everybody went their separate ways. I was young. She was older than me. She was 22. I was 18, and things just didn't work out. So I wrote a couple of poetries for Home News Tribune, and it was in the teen section. Now the teen section, you can only do it, you know, as a teenager. So that was it. And now I just do music. Back then, I didn't have a producer, I didn't have a manager, I didn't have no label. I was just an indie, you know, in other words, independent artist, underground, just recording demos in here. You know, I'll get a little show here and there. We'll go to a talent show, me and my brothers, my brother One, shout out to One, wherever you are, my boy Infinite J, you know, that's pretty much what it was. Up until I believe 2014 or 15, one of those, I did a performance for, we have my background, Ghanaian Civic Association. It's like a women's group. They had a women's group, the Virtuous Women's Unity, and they invited me to come and perform. So there's this guy, shout out to Mr. CNN, he's in Philly. Business mogul, well known, shout out. Mr. CNN was out there taking pictures, so he saw me perform, and after I performed, he just came to me, he was like, listen, you got a talent, man, you know, we got to get you out there. So I took his number, and that was it. I didn't see the guy for years. So I was going through Facebook, and I found him again after a couple of years of doing music. Now at this point, where I'm at right now, you know, I was doing major music. You know, I was linking up with other producers, good people, and here and there, and things like that. So I ended up doing that. I called Mr. CNN. I reached out to him on Facebook. I said, hey, you remember me? The guy who did this? He was like, yeah, you know. So he saw my picture. He was like, oh, yeah, Clem. And I sent him my music. He was like, well, you have improved from what I had heard before. This is great. So we linked up, and the first time I really performed in a lot of big crowd was at the Ghanaian Parade. That was 2016. Mr. CNN hooked me up with the promoter. Shout out to Key Mama Show. Y'all can check her out on Facebook, Key Mama. Mr. CNN linked me up with Key Mama, and Key Mama gave me the platform to perform. I didn't get paid for it. I wasn't looking after money when it comes to my music. You know, my goal was just to get my music out there. That's what it was. So Key Mama linked me up with you know, the music, and I just took flight. So from then on, a couple of people got to see me in New York perform, others came to me. They gave me their numbers and things like that, and we just took it from there. I got invited back this year, 2017, back in August, to perform again. Now, prior to that, last year, Mr. CNN also run, you know, like a program, 3G Media. I have the magazine here. I wish I can show you guys. 3G Media Online magazine. So he also hold an award show every year. He's been doing it for the past 6 years. What that is just he recognizes anybody, not just Ghanaian folks or African folks in America or black folks in America doing something. Just anybody, whoever you are, white, black, Indian, Puerto Rican, whatever, you know, you can always feel free to come inside. And if you're making a change in the community, whether you're an artist, you know, you have a store, you're an entrepreneur, you have a business, you know what I'm saying, you a pastor, you a preacher, even if you cook. So he said, you know what, Clem, I'm going to give you the platform this time to perform at the award show. We're not going to award you, but you're going to perform. And that's exactly what I did. He gave me the platform, and I got to meet some great people. I met a couple of well-known celebrities. Even Abraham Atta, the young boy, was out there. And that also shed a little light on me as well. You know, so people were talking about it and things like that. So the 3G Media I was talking about, this is the magazine, 3G Media. This came out last year. I do have the new one. When I get a chance, I'll show it to you guys. After that, you know, you always, as a musician, or as an artist, people want to believe in you. You know, people want to see something. And it's like, when people are taking chances on artists, it's like playing a lotto. You don't know if you're going to win or lose. Now, human beings, you know, we have a tendency where we think of what if. So, you know, after me getting shows here and there, and the people that I network with here and there, in my mind I'm thinking, oh, this guy's going to help me, this guy's going to do this, and things like that. I wasn't seeing nothing. So what I did was, you know, I started reaching out to people. One advice Mr. CNN gave me was, you know, in this world, if you want to do anything, it start with you. You got to get out there. You know what I'm saying? You got to push yourself. Be passionate. And the most important key is to stay consistent. And that's what I did. So I started reaching out even on Facebook. You know, social media, Instagram, Facebook. Back then too, we had MySpace, you know, just reaching out to people that, you know what I mean, that was into the music. I want to talk about, you know, my label now, DDM TV, and how I got in contact with them. But just to take you guys back real quick, because something just clicked my mind that I really want you guys to hear it. I want to share with you guys. Prior to us moving to New Jersey from Brooklyn, you know, when I was 13, I got sick with gallstones, you know, or in other words, kidney stones. I know some of y'all know about that. And the doctors didn't know what it was at first. If y'all know Kings Plaza Hospital, or Kings County, Kings Plaza Hospital in Brooklyn, I was hospitalized out there for 3 months, going in and out of the hospital every morning. Sometimes I had to stay. My mom would take me. And my mother lost hope. Everybody lost hope, because the doctor said they had to operate me, you know, surgery, to remove my gallbladder. And what was told to me back then at 13 years old, they told me that, you know, you can always live with one gallbladder. You don't need the two necessarily. I didn't know what was going on. And, you know, when you were a child, your mom don't want to put all that into your mind to make you stress or whatever. So I wasn't told nothing. But my other option was, you know, my mother couldn't afford the surgery. She didn't have the money. So the doctor was very kind to us, and his other option was, why don't we just place him on medication just for now? So at 13, I was being put on medication, and I wanted to share that with you guys, just so everybody out there, that you being through this, just know that you will pull out. No condition is permanent, and everything in life happens for a reason. So here I am at 13, even though they said I wasn't gonna make it, I might die or I need surgery. What the doctors told my mom was, oh, we're gonna put him on medication now, but later on in the future it might come back where we have to just remove the gallbladder. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown now. I'm a big man, and I'm fine, very healthy. Anyway, so going back to the music side again. Last year, 2016, I met a guy online. I don't know, everything was just so spiritual. I don't know what it was. I was going through Facebook and looking for producers. Now everything is online. The music, everything is online. So I was going through Facebook and I came across a guy with the name Dylan Beats. So I said, I don't know what made me do that. It was a lot of people, but just him, I'm like, yeah, let me just send him a friend request and see where we take from there. So I sent him a friend request and he accepted me, but we didn't communicate because what I was doing my homework on him. He didn't know that. That's my manager there anyway. If you're watching, yes, I was, Dylan. And what I would do every day, I would go on his page and just stream like him in the studio, the beats he would make, and other records he would do for other people. And I'll listen. I was like, okay, he got something. And I didn't even know where he was, so I found out he was in Ghana, West Africa. So I said in my mind, man, god damn, how am I gonna get in touch with this guy unless I go back home, I'll go on vacation or something. So we started communicating. And then finally, not finally, but I went to Ghana in 2016. When I got to Ghana, I called him. And every time I talk about this, it cracked me up. I laughed because he was like, I called him and he's like, I'm like, yo, you remember me, man? It's the guy from Facebook. It's Clem, aka Thuggy. We linked up. You my friend. He's like, man, I don't know, but you want to play games with me because some people be doing that. Not knowing that what it was people always call him like, yeah, you remember? And then it's, it's like fake. It's not there. They don't show up. So he thought I was one of them. Like, and I'm speaking English. I'm speaking American English. So this dude in Africa is looking at me like, yo, you trying to scam me or something? I'm like, no, this is real. I'm in Kumasi. What's up? Let's link up. And he's like, no, whatever. So I hung up the phone. I never got to see Dylan. I did what I had to. So this year, 2017, I went to Ghana in May. I left the States May 28th, and I went to Ghana. So we linked up. I called him when I got there. I'm like, yo, soon as the first day I landed at Kotoka, which is the airport, I was in Accra, my hotel. I called him. I'm like, yo, I'm here. Now this time he knew who I was because we had been communicating from then on. We were talking. I would chat him video and things like that. He would send me beats, have me listen to it, see what I like and what I don't like, and he was happy that I was there. So, 2017 was the golden year where I ended up linking up with Kwame Dylan. That's his name, and we knocked out about 7 tracks first time in the studio, just to get to the point. What I'm trying to say is that's how DDM TV Music came about. And he happened to be the boss, the CEO. This guy had his own record label, a nice big studio in Kumasi. So, but I'm gonna tell y'all this. The beautiful thing about this guy, Kwame Dylan, my producer, my manager, was he was and still is a struggling artist, a struggling producer, a struggling manager. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is he he himself too was trying to get himself out there, get his music out there for people to hear him, like people to just listen to what he can produce, what he can bring to the table. And it wasn't happening. So he's working at underground cats and things like that. So pretty much it's like I brought something to the table and he brought something to my table. So now we like this. One. And that's how DDM TV Music came about. So this year is when I got signed to the underground label. It's an independent label, DDM TV Records, and we're bringing out good music. Now, I have a lot. I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm not gonna share everything with y'all today because I don't want y'all to get all the good stuff. You know what I mean? I gotta save some for later, and then y'all can just let it marinate and feed off of that. I've been through a lot of fights. Like I said, it was fighting because that's how I ended up getting expelled from high school. And I'm the type of guy, it's like everywhere I go, somebody has to hate me. I don't know what it is. I'm not rich. I don't have money. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a struggling guy. I work for my money. Very hard working. So, here in the States, before I linked up or before I got with my label now, DDM TV Music, I will go to like a music conference. I even met Kanye West's producer. His name is Really Doe. I met them. Other people. I went to New York. I met producers, movie producers. When I was younger, taking y'all back, when I was a teenager, like 18, 19, I wanted to get into modeling, and I had an opportunity to be a cast on CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, that show on TV. Now, the same day, I want to share this story with you guys because my mother still reminds me about that and we laugh about it. The same day I had an audition for a CSI cast member to be on a show and have a part on the show on TV. That same day, I had a job interview at a warehouse here in New Jersey. So which one you gonna go? I spoke to my mom. By the way, my mother is my best friend. I'm my mom's only son and I always confide in my mother. I love her to death. Shout out to Mom Dukes, Mrs. Afun. So I spoke to my mom. My mom said, well, son, movie stuff and it's not guaranteed. You might go for the audition and you don't have a lot of experience in acting, but a job, you guarantee to bring home a paycheck every Friday or whatnot. So I was like, you know what they say growing up? Always listen to your mother, guys. So, I don't know, but right now, the truth, I'm sorry, mama, but I wish I would have went to the audition, because guess what? I said, alright then, I'm going to go to the job interview and just fuck this. That's what I said. So, I called them, like, yeah, I'm running late, I'm in traffic. I was lying to them, because I was going to New York. Manhattan, in the city, from New Jersey to the city. I was going to take the bus, the Jersey Transit. So I'm lying to them now. The producer called me. He's mad. Clem, where you at? Da-da-da. I want to see you. When these guys, they have my picture from their modeling company, but they've never met me in person, So that was going to be like a big break for me to go put up my acting skills and all of that. I can act too, by the way. So, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm running late. Da-da-da. So he hung up. He was so mad he hung up. They kept calling me and I didn't pick up. I went to the job interview. Got there on time. I was 10 minutes early. Sat, the manager came. Oh, you the guy here for the interview? I said, yeah. So all right, I'll be right back with you. It was a warehouse position, like pick and pack, things like that. I did the interview. He's like, all right, I like what I see. I'll call you. 2017, the man never called me. Till this day, I never got a call back from the job. So guys, imagine if I would have went to my audition, maybe that would have been my big break. But this is why we go through things in life and we share our testimony. You know what I'm saying? That's life. You have to lose to gain. And sometimes you're going to gain and lose. And that's what happened to me. I lost both the audition and I never got the job. What do you think I did? It wasn't the end of the world. So you go through a lot of things, don't think it's the end of the world. Our Creator, the good God, will never give you more than you cannot handle on your plate. Remember that. A lot of people be like, oh, I'm going through problems, I'm going through this. No. There's people being convicted of murder, facing life plus 60 years. That means you're going to die in prison. And they don't think it's the end of the world. They still have hope. Life is nothing but experience. You live and you learn. The lesson I got from losing the audition and the job was, not everything in this life is meant for you. Maybe I could have went to the audition, got the role, and next you know, bang, I turn something else. Or bang, I lose my life. Maybe I would have gotten the job one on my first day and got hurt on the job. Or on my way to the job, God forbid, got into an accident and I lost my life. You know, these are all things you got to think about. But this was one of the greatest experiences in my life that I always think about it and I laugh about it, you know, because I wanted that audition so bad. So going back, the modeling did not work. And always, I stayed with the music. Always.